folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little fellow right here, Onitama, Way of the Wind. Now this is an expansion for Onitama. You do need the base game in order to use this product, but I'll show you what comes inside the box, also show you how it works throughout the course of the game, and then we'll come back with some final thoughts in just a few moments after that. So let's go ahead and get to it. A game of Onitama set up using the Way of the Wind expansion. Now, the Way of the Wind expansion comes with a number of different wind cards and 2 movement cards, and I'm showing you everything you get in the box here in this picture. But what will happen in a regular usage of the expansion is that each person will get a wind card each, and then 3 movement cards are used, the third of which will determine who goes first by the symbol either red or blue. Now, what this wind spirit miniature does is it actually blocks movement, because you can never move a piece, whether it's a master or a pawn, onto this space wherever the wind spirit is. But additionally, you have a number of different wind spirit cards that you're going to be using during the course of the game. At the top, it gives the movement pattern for your master or your pawn if you choose to use this movement card. And then at the bottom, if you use the top, you must use the bottom, and that's where you move the wind spirit on the board. Now, of course, the same movement rules apply. You can never move a piece off of the board. You can't move a piece onto another piece that's already existent, except for if the wind spirit is going to move onto a piece that where a pawn is, then the place is actually swapped like so. The wind spirit cannot be moved onto a place where the master is ever, so you do have to keep that in mind as well. So generally speaking, a round may work something to this effect where, see, red is going first, so he's going to use this scorpion move, and so the scorpion is allowing the master or a pawn to move to the right, either forward or backward, diagonally 1 square. So since we're all on our back line right now, we can only move diagonally forward, so we're going to move this guy up here like this, and then we have to move the wind spirit in such a way that it will land in one of those 4 spots. So that would be one, much like a knight in chess. It would be 1 over and like this, or it could be 2 over and 1 like that. So that's what we'll do. We're going to put him here, and then that one will come out here like this. Then this card is put over here and swapped out with the goat. Well, the blue player is just going to use their sheep here, and they're going to move back 1 like so. And then this is going to come over here, and now he has both of the wind spirit movements. Come back, and red will use the eel and come over this way like that, taking the sheep. And then blue will use the bat to go forward 1 here like that. And then the pawn, the wind spirit, will move over here like this. And that's how the game would continue until one or the others either got their master over to the other podium or took out the other person's master with one of their pawns. So that's about that for the Way of the Wind expansion for Onitama. As I mentioned before, I just want to make it clear you do need the base game in order to use this expansion. Now, the expansion comes with 8 Way of the Wind cards and 2 more new movement cards, so that is interesting. It also comes with that miniature that looks really neat on the board, provides a little bit of a pop to the board, I think, too. So there is that. I think that what this expansion does for the game is it might prolong the game a little bit more, which might not be down your alley, but I don't think it's needless or fruitless elongation, I guess you could say, because while it's making the turn go a little bit longer, because you are not only tracking where your pawns and masters can move, you're also trying to then factor in how you can best use that wind spirit, because it does block some of the movement spaces that will be possibly utilized by your opponent. You can also make your pawns move in different spots by swapping it with the wind spirit. You can also do that to the other your opponent's pawns as well, bringing them in closer or moving them further away. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get into my pros and cons here. First of all, the pro is, I think that, well, first of all, the component quality is great. The miniature is nice, it's chunky, and it's not going to break easily. It's not made of a material that's going to break or anything like that. So there's a lot of durability there. It looks great on the board. So there is that. I think component quality is great. The cards are what you are expecting from Onitama. They are the same quality with a linen finish. So they're going to hold up to usage pretty well, I believe, as well. The second pro to the expansion is simply this. I think it adds a great level of thought to a game that already used a lot of thought without changing the complexity of the game much at all. Yes, there's the added layer of where are you going to use the Wind Spirit tile token or model, how you're going to use it, and how you're going to best use it in your favor and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't add any more complexity than that. And while I did say earlier that it might elongate the game a little bit more than what you're probably used to, I don't think it's a bad thing because the level of involvement that comes with the extra time investment, I think, is equal. I think that the gameplay is fun. I think that the addition of the Wind Spirit adds to your enjoyment of the game. And I think that's more what I'm trying to say than anything else. Yes, you are getting on some extra thought processing that has to happen there, but at the same time, you're also getting a little bit more enjoyment out of the game as well. Another pro of the expansion is that it is a seamless addition to the game. There's nothing there that would make it look out of place. Yes, it looks different, but it's still, the cards are all very picturesque in their vintage or traditional kind of way. And the model, while it is that, it looks a little bit more flashy, I guess you could say, than the Master and Pawns, it's different enough to represent what it is. It's a wind spirit. It's not just some human that's walking around the board. So I like how it is a seamless interjection into a game that is already one of my favorite abstract strategy games. As far as cons are concerned, maybe the pro that I mentioned, how it adds a slight bit of complexity to it, but even though it's not needless complexity, I think it's beneficial. That might not be what everybody's looking for. One of Onitama's strengths is how simple it is and how easy it is to teach, and adding this little thin, albeit layer of complexity onto it, might not be what people are looking for, but I really did enjoy it. I thought it didn't add so much complexity that it changed the game. You're still playing the base game of Onitama. You just have a couple of extra things to take into account on your turn, and I don't think that's an egregious error on their part at all. I don't think it's an error at all, really, but somebody might, so I'm going to put it here, but it's really the only con for this expansion. I really do like this, and I like what it adds to the game. So all in all, we're going to go ahead and give Onitama Way of the Wind a 9 out of 10 for an expansion. Now, this is the kind of expansion that I like that games usually have. They add a little bit to the game, but they don't change the foundational principle or concepts or mechanisms that are employed in the game. They simply give you something else to do that expands your enjoyment of the game, and I think that's exactly what expansions should do. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 because I really did enjoy it. I thought it was I think it's a great addition to the game, and I think you should go out and catch a copy with it if Onitama is one of those games that sits on your shelf. I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. So that's it for me, a 9 out of 10 for Way of the Wind, the expansion for Onitama. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care now.